So I want to talk today about negativity bias. Now, I think negativity bias is one of the most important concepts for every single person to know, not even just people working on personal growth and self-development. I mean, literally everyone. I think it's affecting everyone in the world every single day. I don't think it's talked about enough. And I think it's one of those things that is literally just hardwired into the human DNA. And that's why it's something that is so hard to get away from. And it's one of those things that once you learn about it, you'll literally start to see it everywhere. Now, negativity bias is a human's predisposition to notice the negative things and prioritize negative things more than the positive things. Now, if you think about this, it makes complete sense because you can take on as many positive things as can be given to you, right? If someone wants to shower you with gifts, if someone wants to give you a bunch of food, if somebody wants to give you a lot of compliments, maybe it makes you feel uncomfortable, but it's not going to kill you. But one negative thing that happens to you can kill you. One snake bite can kill you, one car crash, one enemy that gets behind the lines. That is absolutely possible. If you watch the news, turn on any news channel at any point, and I can almost guarantee that you will see more negative stories than positive stories. Because that's what sells. That's what gets people's attention. And it gets people's attention because of this inherent need for survival. And it makes complete sense that this is in our DNA. But if you don't know about this and you go through your everyday life, just letting that negativity bias run rampant and run your perception of things, it is not a good place to be because you could find something negative in anything. There is something dangerous anytime you leave the house, being in a car, being in a plane, traveling, going to another country. It's literally everywhere. And now that you know about negativity bias, I challenge you, start looking for it in the world, in media, in other people. You're going to see it so much that you wish you hadn't learned about it because it's literally just everywhere. And I think once you know about negativity bias and you start to pay attention to yourself and you start to notice where your negative biases are, it becomes so much easier to drop them, and it becomes so much easier to sort of entertain the positive in situations rather than just the negatives, because the negatives are just the default mode, right? And humans, if we're going to just default to our basic needs, it's not a good existence, right? We want to become our higher selves. We want to become a better version of ourselves than is just encoded in our DNA. Unfortunately, I think that negativity bias is behind a lot of the really bad things that we see in the news these days, because I think that negativity bias is so strong in us, that need for survival is so strong that it can sometimes push us to do things that we wouldn't have done otherwise had we known more facts about the situation. So for example, say you seek some kids in your neighbor's yard and they look a little sketchy and you go over there, you get a weapon. Next thing you know, some sort of altercation happens and now one of the kids is shot or stabbed or hurt or there's a fight. And really these kids were just going over there to get their soccer ball. You really had no evidence as to what these kids were doing, but because of fear, because of negativity bias, because of not really standing back and assessing what you know about the situation and what you don't, you made a judgment call and then you did something dangerous and potentially hurt someone or killed someone. And I think that happens so often in the news, so often in our society, and it's so sad because if people can just sometimes take one second, take one step back and just think, wait a second, am I really making an accurate assessment of this situation, or am I letting some sort of bias, some sort of negativity guide the way in which I'm viewing this? And I think this happens on a global scale too. I think that there is a part of us that's still kind of living in tribal times where we see people who are other than us, people who are outside of our group, and we don't like those people. Whether they're from another state, whether they're from another school, whether they're from another country, and we just automatically have this negative bias towards these people. Meanwhile, if you get to know them, you'll realize that they basically are like the same. They basically have the same wants and needs and beliefs as you do. You know, most people want to feed their family. Most people want to have a nice life. Sure, there are the outliers there. I won't entertain the fact that that's not there. I mean, obviously there is bad that happens in the world, but I think most people on a general scale, on a general level, are just trying to live their lives. They're just trying to be a good person. And I think that the negativity bias in us sometimes keeps us from realizing that. So if you got to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching, and I just challenge you to pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to your own negativity, because negativity is just not a nice place to live. It's not nice to live in that negativity every single day. And if you can find a more positive view of yourself, of others, of the world, life can just become so much more pleasant. So I challenge you to take a look at that and to spread the news, spread this concept to other people, because like I said before, I think it is so important that people know about this and people understand that just ingrained into their DNA is this bias, and it's not them and it's not always the situation, right? But always be careful no matter what situation that you're in. If you like this video, please subscribe, because I would love to see you on this channel again. I talk about personal development, personal growth, and just things that I think are interesting in the world, and I would love to share that with you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.